You guys ready for some fun?
Yes.
Okay. Chikaliro to yamako akin asya alaka aroto. So let's go ahead and get started. Um,
1 second, Ken. I just
yeah.
want to give a little introduction to the group. Okay, so for the few newcomers, I think I see a couple. This is the Denver NDE Spirituality Group, and we have monthly meetings first Saturday of the month, usually at 2 o'clock. Our next meeting will be July 5th. This is Dougie's home. Hi, Dougie. Why don't you raise your hand? There you go. Yes. So our next meeting is July 5th with John Davis, who had a near-death experience, and then a few housekeeping things. The bathroom's over there, which you can use when you need. Kitchen isn't here. You can get water if you need. We have the donation bowl out, and Meetup is pretty expensive these days. It's gone up quite a bit, so we appreciate, a $5 donation or whatever you can afford. We have a sign-up sheet. It doesn't give you too much beyond Meetup, but if you want to sign up, let's pass this around. You might get some additional tips on interesting events in the area, and you can contact me if you'd like to speak for the group or you want to suggest a speaker and things like that. So I think that's about it. So now
Are you ready?
Ken Lloyd.
All right, everyone. So yeah, Ken Lloyd. And this is exciting. It's fun, right? Usually when I get a chance to speak, everyone wants me just to deliver the codes rather than tell my story. With all the interviews I do, they're like, keep your story short and just do the thing you do. So we're going to be doing that a little bit today. So I'm going to be talking about my journey since this is a near-death experience group. Kind of the journey seems to be important with a lot of the speakers, right? So I didn't have an NDE. Shocker. I know. I thought I did, but it was a spiritual transformative experience, I guess, right? So kind of the process, and I'll talk about that. So in 2018, I was a cybersecurity executive. I have built three cybersecurity companies. They've all been sold. And the third company was the most stressful. I ended up with a pituitary brain tumor. Um, the business partner was putting me under massive stress, right? Um, Employees across the world, not a lot of sleep, massive anger, led my energy drinks, right? And not a lot of sleep. So in early 2018, my business partner triggered me. Just another day, anger. So I ended up going into the other room and laying down in the bed. And the moment I lay down in the bed, my stomach arched in the air. So like an upside down U, right? And I was literally electrified and frozen in position. Now, I had no idea what was going on. Um, I have no spirituality, no religion, no background. I was just an entrepreneur creating software. And so this happened, and I could feel this warm energy in the abdomen. And after a moment or two, a minute or two, it just kind of got jerked out of me, right? I passed out, woke up the next day. So was it an NDE? No. So what it turned out to be, and this is the way I can understand it now, for me, one of the things that I like is, every psychic needs a psychic, every healer needs a healer. We need people in our lives to help understand what's happening. So I have people who are able to look at me and help me understand what's happening to me. So the idea of the tunnel opening, right? You hear those stories all the time. They go over and they have their experiences. That didn't happen. So think of the idea of the tunnel opening, but I had a soul aspect walk through into my field. I'm what's called a walk-in. At that time, I was what was called a soul braid walk-in. So Ken was still here. Ken never went over, right? And so you can imagine two souls braided into the same field. Okay. Now I didn't know this happened. They weren't talking to me. No idea. All I know is I woke up the next day a little bit more peaceful. I wasn't healed. I didn't have all that craziness. I didn't have anything literally other than, wow, life just got better all of a sudden. That energy that was swirling out of my abdomen was a massive trauma release. They pulled the trauma out of my body from birth up until that moment, most of it at once. By doing that, what happens is it allows your body's frequency to rise up, right? Which is what we're going to do today a little later, have some fun. We're going to raise those frequencies up, and that allowed that soul aspect to come over. So trauma was gone, even though I didn't know what was going on. But I found myself literally hitting Google pretty hard the next day. Like, well, what was that? Right. And it turns out that the soul aspect that came over was the one behind the scenes directing me. Google this, Google that. What is an aura? What is a psychic? I think I went to a psychic once at a fair. Like it was never a thing. But I found myself reading all this material and couldn't quite understand it. It was just the basics, the absolute basics, right? And then I come across that list that says, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that. Careful what you ask for. So I ended up picking up a book on energy healing, right? Now, it was interesting. I was doing the work in the book, and I'm like, what is this? So I actually took a modality. Now, I don't have a modality. Every single moment I show up, everything comes in organic. But I did take a modality about 4 years ago to say, well, what's really happening here? They put you with these 25 people and they're all having these results. I'm like, that's interesting. So then I hired someone to teach me multidimensionality, right? Meaning I'm going to drop in, I'm going to visit Mars. I'm being funny, but not funny at the same time, right? Going to go into the middle of Mars, going to go over here, go over there, right? This person kind of taught me the idea of meditation, but not meditation in silence, in meditation with a purpose, right? So I'm doing all these things, and she comes in, she says, you need to detox your body. I'm like, what do you mean? She says, yeah. So one of the biggest detoxes I ended up doing was a heavy metal detox. Did it for 6 months. And it was just psyllium husk. It was bentonite clay. I was one of those guys, I would just hit it all day long, whatever, right? And then I had all the metal in my mouth removed, right? I'm an 80s kid. Me and Mountain Dew were lovely partners. So all those cavities, all the metal, as soon as that happened, things started shifting. Right? I could all of a sudden feel crystals. I was getting a little bit of that, the little bit of that intuition we get. So I'm like, wow, I finally get some progress. But I ended up um, getting rid of that person. And no sooner did I do that than my team shut off all external information. So let me explain what that means. As soon as I had my event, I found myself turning off the TV, right? Turning off the radio, no music, right? No stimuli at all. But except for the Google stuff I was searching. And then my team turned that off. So for the last 3 years, I've been in isolation. You could tell me names of certain speakers out there or channelers, and I may have heard them 3 or 4 years ago. But I don't subscribe to any newsletters, no YouTubes, no meditations, nothing, nothing at all. My team has me literally in isolation. So hopefully that'll change in a little bit. So, you know, when we do our journey, it it's kind of like a staircase, right? We discover something, we move up a little bit. Maybe we learn how to meditate, maybe we get that message, maybe we get that activation, right? And we end up kind of leveling off for a little while, and then another thing happens. Could be a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade, whatever it is, and then we bump up again. They have me, as they say, on an elevator that never stops. I'm not actively trying to tweak myself, right? No one works on me. No one's allowed to work on me. I don't get activations from anyone. Now, this is interesting because every 3 weeks, they change me. They change what I see. They change what I do. They change what they say to me. So let me tell you a little bit more. So on December 12th, 23, was that about a little over, not quite 2 years, 18 months ago, right? Yeah. I get a little message that says, go meditate. No, I don't meditate. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'm hopping in the closet and go meditate. And the moment I sat down in the seated position, my body was frozen. I couldn't itch and I couldn't twitch. All I could do is feel this intense energy coming down the crown, moving through the body. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I get a message like, hey, I'm a little busy. I'll get busy in a minute. So then they turned off my ability to ask questions and to think. They did. So that quiet time you always want in the meditation, I had it for about 13 minutes as I'm feeling this energy. That was the day my higher self moved into my physical structure. Um, one of the things about walk-ins that typical happen, there's what they call a soul exchange. So, and I'm like, listen, that tunnel we talked about earlier, the soul's walking by and the other one's leaving out and they're slapping hands on the way by, right? The author of the book Walk-ins, Cosmology of the Soul, she's a soul exchange, right? She woke up into a body that was being healed instantly as one soul left and she moved into the body.
Mm.
Now, I'm not that. I was a soul brain. When these walk-ins come in, especially the exchanges, they don't know the families. I mean, they have like the memory in the body, but they don't know the families. They don't know the partners. They don't know anything. And they rapidly move. They shift. I mean, literally physically up, move, root, cell, divorce instantly. Like this is a normal thing. So here I am, about 3 years into this, right? And I'm thinking, dodged the bullet, right? So 17-year marriage, beautiful woman, like wasn't an issue, but all of a sudden on 12/12, the higher self steps in the body. And he says, now you're getting a divorce. I'm like, what? Where'd that come from? Right. So for me, it was kind of a big deal. Cybersecurity guy, right? Entrepreneur, sold my companies. I ended up selling everything I owned or giving it away, including my beautiful home down in Naples, Florida, my race cars, my lifted vehicles, everything. And by mid-March, I think, maybe April 1st, roughly, 3 months later, I was in Mexico. I don't speak Spanish. I've never been out of the country. And my team had me in Mexico from April until the end of August last year, right? So not just a little over a year ago. So I end up in Yalapa, Mexico, and I'm in Yalapa. And if you don't know anything about Yalapa, yeah, right. So the only way you get there is by boat, right? No cars. They have horses, donkeys, and four-wheelers. They don't even have an ATM machine, right? So this is Jalapa. So I was there for a month. 9 more came into my field. All right. Now I'm going to back up a second. 12/12/23. I missed a note here on April 1st, 23. So a little over 2 years ago, I had 13 come into my field. Right. So I was called the soul braid of 13. That was kind of a message. And I'm doing events in Sarasota now, right? Doing healings. I'm like, oh, I'm 13. Don't know what that means. I don't even know who they are. They weren't talking to me like that. Yelapa and 9 more come in. And then I moved to Tulum. I was in Tulum for July and August. And I get this message. Um, you need to go do Cambo and Bufo. Now, if you guys know about plant medicines, I don't like them. I don't like plant medicines. I don't like to hallucinate. I don't like any of that, but I do this. And, I'm vegan at the time. I'm very, very clean in the body. So Cambo is a frog poison. If you guys know, they burn these little holes in your arm, about the size of it. It's a frog poison. So they burn these little holes in your arm, 4 or 5 of them, and then they take that frog poison and they rub it on there, and it causes you to purge, to throw up, right? They make you drink 2 liters of water, my God. And they do this because what happens is it instantly opens up the cells of the body. It's like a rapid detox. That's fine. 2 hours later, they had me doing the bufo. And I guess you're not supposed to do these things normally, like in the same day. So the bufo is a toad poison. Okay. And the bufo is DMT, right? It's a chemical released at birth and at death. And if you Google it, they say it's the God molecule that's released. They call it the ego death, right? Yeah, it is, because it's exactly what happened. So as soon as they administer it, um, you're a minute from dropping in, and everything turns kaleidoscope. I don't know if you guys remember those kaleidoscopes that you used like when you were young. That with a massive spotlight behind it is so bright you want to wear sunglasses with your eyes closed in the dark. It's just massive bright. I don't know what happened to me for the first 10 minutes, but I know as I was coming through it, I see my ego being walked over to the other side, escorted by 2 spirits. He was pissed. He looked back at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I don't know what I'm doing. And as I'm coming through, I see at that time I had 22 in my field. I saw all 22 in this tent. And the one to my right looks solid 3D, like you could just reach out and touch them. Open my eyes, same thing. That happened a couple times. And I got two real messages that day. One, my 24th chromosome came online. And two, everything I had done up to that point was nothing more than the aroma of what's about to come. So this is kind of the journey. Now I thought I was good. That was the day I was no longer a soul braid. When they opened up the cells of the body and they walked the ego out, all 22 of them and Ken merged into an embodied collective known as a soul infusion. Most of Ken is gone, even though I'm sitting here. It's very difficult to comprehend. But I merge with this collective that has been coined by Sheila Seppi as an omni-consciousness stream of divine intelligence. Now, it's, I thought I was done, right? When that happened, I'm like, oh, God. And so for about 6 months or so, the healings are off the charts. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this February, I woke up, I couldn't animate my physical body. And I woke up void of emotion. Now, it's one thing to have high emotion and low emotion, but you've never experienced a void of emotion and the inability to animate your body. Now, it wasn't that sleep paralysis you're thinking. I want you to think of the idea of a puppet and strings. The strings had been cut, so to speak. Now, for the past 5 years, when he stepped into my body, well, before that, I would get those tingles in here. Those tingles. Yep. Over here. Hi. Hi. We got a few more coming in, guys. Hold on a second. We got a bunch coming in. We're out of seats. We'll come back in a second, guys. No, the capo na kanisi.
La lengua de la luz, de la luz. Oye, Javier, ¿quieres sentarte aquí? Ya, siéntate. ¿Quieres? Hello.
Hey, hey. We all ready?
Yeah, well.
All right, we're going to go ahead and
You
continue.
guys want to come in here? You can sit here, Javier. There's like chairs there and there's.
Bit of space.
Yeah.
Two more?
Right there.
Hold on, guys. We're just getting more people seated. So for the past 5 years, my body has had those tingles in. Have you guys ever gone to see someone spiritual and they give you those tingles, right? Well, they've been in my body solid for 5 years, but it started off as tingles, right? And I would lay in bed and I wouldn't move. I'm like, wow, this feels delicious. Fingertips, chest, torso, legs. And over the years, it got more intense and more intense. And even right now, I'm sitting here and my body feels like static electricity and white noise from the bone marrow in all the way out. My face is numb right now from the amount of energy pumping through my system. So woke up in February, unable to animate my body. And what had happened is the amount of frequencies being installed into me, the physical structure couldn't handle it anymore. They pulled all the chakras out, the emotional body, kind of in the emotional body. They pulled that out and installed new ones. It's like going from a 10 amp fuse to a 50 amp fuse. Now, I couldn't understand why they were doing this, right? And I was telling you earlier that I'm like an elevator that never stops. So that was the beginning of what's taking place right now in the body. So it's important to understand with all of these soul aspects in this collective, they are aspects, they're not full souls. They're all merged as a collective. I get one voice off to my right, and then I have a new voice off above that to the right. And what this is in February, they shifted all this out so they could begin moving in as soul aspect of the great divine director, right? So everything in my field, in my consciousness stream is of divine origin. Now, in February, again, every psychic needs a psychic, right? So I'm like, I've got these folks. I'm like, listen, I need you, and Sheila Sup is one of them. I'm like, I need you guys to tell me who's in my field. right? Because again, I get one voice. And at that time, there were 16 ascended masters. Remember, these are aspects, not full souls. There are 16 ascended masters, 4 oversouls, 10 Christed ETs, and 15 archangels. That was then. There's more now. Let me explain the idea of Christed ETs. Just like we have an ascended master who goes through their process, to raise up their consciousness to that divine, I call it the divine origins of themselves. The ETs do the same, right? They have their own version of connection to Christ consciousness. Those 10, which represent the 10 major players right now, are in the field because when someone shows up and you are a Palladian or you are an Andromedan or whatever you are, those codes come down for you through them. So I am what is called a hollow bone. If you guys have heard that, I think it's also called a rainbow hollow bone or something.
It's a shamanic term.
It's a shamanic term, right? I didn't ask for this. I didn't know what it was. I mean, I couldn't even Google this stuff, right? Yeah. So what happens here is when someone shows up to do a session with me, or we're going to have some fun a little later, right? We're all going to do this, but your team is working through my team. Your team wants to deliver you your codes, your upgrades, whatever these things are. But it takes a human to activate a human, right? So your team works through my team. And my team is ensuring that the codes that your team says, hey, here's the package, here's the compressed file, call it what you want. We're going to make sure that there's no back doors, there's no contracts, there's no loopholes. So the team scrubs it through the divinity realms, passes through the archangels, passes through the ascended masters, comes down the hollow bone and out my throat chakra. I have thousands of light languages that flow through me. And you're going to hear a lot of this here in this minute because we're going to have some fun. I'll tell you about that in a moment. We're just going to couple fun. We're just going to do it. So the light languages that I use them to talk to your organs. I use them to talk to the consciousness in your body, the viruses, the diseases. Now, I'm not a medical medium. I see energy and I talk to the consciousness of that energy, right? You can say, scam me. I'm like, for what? I can find something wrong, but that's not what I do. You could tell me, hey, fix the pain in my shoulder. It goes away almost instantly. Because I'm working at the energy levels, what's really happening here is I'm going to use the word manipulate in the positive term, manipulating the energy fields around you. Now, our auric layers compress down to create the physical body. So when you touch the etheric layers around you, it shows up in the body almost instantly. And this is what I do. I'm here for millions of people to shift them, to remove the trauma that's in them so they can begin their own ascension journey. So when we have discomfort and pain in the body, how can we focus on our own internal growth and we're just trying to get through day to day, right? This is the problem. So the divine's like, okay, we're going to come through the ascension process that we all know has been slow rolled. How's it been going on now? 30 years, something like that. We've been talking about it. Been a long time. It's done. The Chicago Korea Bakari, they're coming in. They're coming in and they're beginning to do the heavy lifting. I'm like heavy construction equipment to come in and pull that heavy trauma out of the body. So the body goes back to its normal functioning state. Then they expand the soul. They connect you to who you want to connect to, your teams, your guides, your ETs, whatever they are. And then they activate that divine human lineage in you. So I just give you guys kind of a so this is my day. You don't want to hang around my house because everything that happens to me is light language. And my team will channel verbally as I'm walking through the house and going on hikes. They literally have these conversations, right? But typically they just speak in light language. So what I'm going to do here is one, I love questions, right? So my story is kind of, it's a journey, right? But what I will do is give you guys a feeling. So just kind of pay attention to how you're feeling right now, your emotional, your frequencies, your levels. And then I'm going to hop in here. Niente altro, ma che niente ieri che arriva perché niente arriva tutto che si chiede perché niente di caro perché per questo che perché niente arca ma arriva tutto che si chiede perché quando tutto che perché si chiede che niente caro come quando tutto che attaccare to shikari mama ne tutto andando to shikaro to ya ma per yaro andato di che perché yaro con Mario ne to ya to si chiede perché loro to che che arca Mario to si niente aria tati ne tarlo ta caro di si no perché loro to corre per niente caro pa biati ci attaccare to ayama no ya na sha ne ki na ya si aku Duli maba ni aka unusu ni ay suri klin ala ariaro no do yundri mi ni diaro do no di ala ali lo tu ari da kini tu rota aba mi no ni ga lo ni ga ni suri kati ato shoto shikari ke tu pat shikin ap ku anchi no pat anchi ni chikin ka apraku shikari pat ke dit ti ka tu ku do to ri am ti ku ti ach ke na ke ke ko do to ri pat kar mara ni ti shuru to ke ni ka apra ko ri shuri oni ke mi enta di na ta ri ro to ri amar yo to kuryo so when I'm doing this I'm in the back of my head wondering if I did my laundry today right and I'm looking at my tongue and I see frequencies coming off the left side and the right side and I make fun of my team I'm like you can't do the middle right and when I do this you'll notice there are different tones different sounds. Those are the energies coming down through the hollow bone to deliver, right? I've got quite a few videos out there and you'll see the major shifts as they do this. Yeah.
Do you understand what's coming through you?
Yeah, sometimes I do. Like if I'm talking to an entity, or your consciousness, whatever, I'm having a conversation with your team or your higher self or your egoic mind. Yeah, I know what I'm doing because I'm actually doing the telepathy at the same time the light language is happening, right? Other times when I'm doing individual sessions, the light language is shifting the visualizations that I'm having. And I use the light language to determine how much intensity needs to happen. But as I sit here and I just did what I did, no, absolutely not. I don't know what's coming out, right?
This is probably what was known as the Bible in the Bible as speaking in tongues.
Yes, absolutely. We want you to express the idea that the tongues is actually a constraint in the idea that it's a box, right? Those individuals speaking tongues have to adhere to the doctrine that they're speaking, where light language or language of light has no doctrine necessarily, meaning it has full expression. So this is them. They'll come through. I don't have to pop in, right, and tone or channel. They'll come through and they'll talk, but they don't talk to me like that. They talk when questions are asked. Like they haven't talked to me in quite a few weeks, and I'm a little pissy with them. I'm a little pissy because they don't tell me what's happening in my physical body, right? They don't help me understand the imprinting and the energy that's taking place and what's happening. And they do that because if the human knew what was taking place, me, my expectations would be very, very different than what they're bringing in. So they're very, very silent to me personally as I move through these shifts and changes. Okay. So let me ask, does anybody have pain in here? Because I thought this was really fun. You got pain where? Your hip? Is that your right hip?
3 years ago.
Don't even need a story. Yeah. So the team doesn't do stories, right? They come in, they'll move the energy. What they don't want to know is this ancestor? Is this a past life? Or how many ancestors have past lives? So can I work on you? And you got it right now, right? Kule moriacha parora karora barorte kenisha galera kobriora ke shirera te ne ke ori amari shgoro loro ke barora ti arara corri kama bli ne ka kalere carreta carriera kore moro torre shikini atini and another in chokota shaka kore ma paria there's still more there shikori era bariori ne ke lero toria bariori go shilera kolar bariori I'm working on the right side you did say right didn't you good shikalo ke baliori ne baria carriaro toria bortoni and idi shilero toria kini kini shikori no re maria nari and idi shiliri kan ne idi shini ga go barikoni abaria to the left. Kalero shigalere oriata that drop. Kalema paria dissolve. Kalema pa aniata alere in the kari in the Korea rebuild. Kalema paria shukuri. So did that shift for you? Right. Is it gone? Yeah.
We'll do the moonwalk thing.
So this is how it works. They come in and they shift the energetic fields and it shows up in the physical body. Now I like to do pain because it's an easy, it's there and it's not there, right? Now, it's not always that easy because sometimes I'll have to come through and like, okay, we're going to say, what is your discomfort level? And you'll say, we always start at a 10. And then I'll work on you and it'll come in layers. I'll see other things happening. And it'll take 2 or 3 minutes, but we'll get down to a 0 usually for most people. but that's pain. This is for everything, right? But when we're in an audience, it's a lot easier to say comfort, no discomfort. Yeah.
Why do they come to you? Why does it come through you as voice and vibration that way versus telepathically? That question just came.
I have most of the clairs. I have clairsentience. So I know what's happening before it's happening. Go ahead.
Why do we hear it through your two sides of your tongue,
Yeah.
versus why isn't the information, why doesn't it go through you and then somehow telepathically hear it?
Well, so the human can't really understand light language, and it's designed intentionally for that. If you knew,
Understand.
that's right, the brain would intercept that, like Spanish, right? So somebody speaks a Spanish word, we're like, oh, well, that means blue. Like, I don't know any Spanish words, you know? Yeah, I don't know. So the light language is designed so the brain can't interfere with it or the egoic mind, right? So it flows through right in to be absorbed or kapag light language is a compressed file of codes, right? And these codes are shifting the energetic field around you or opening up your clairs or whatever those cases are. Yeah.
Work with our throat chakra when consistently someone doesn't allow us to speak our truth.
What do you refer to somebody in the 3D like a partner or something? You need to realize that, do you really want to speak your truth? If you wanted to speak your truth, you would make those actions to make it happen. Not everything has to be in alignment at all times. We simply want to say sometimes you have to exit for the entrance to happen. When there are disruptions in your field, disruptions in your life, make those shifts, make those changes. They're not always fun to hear. Yeah. So when you are suppressed like that, right, our body will react when we have those relationships that are not necessarily pleasant, right? And we'll reach a point where we just blow up, we make that crazy decision, and then we move on to whatever is next. And ultimately, when I find that when people are doing their spiritual journey, all right, the same thing with me, with my former wife, so no problems, happy, 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 joy, joy, joy. And then my event happened. She stayed here. In fact, she told me once, and with total respect, don't change my belief system. Beautiful. So I didn't, right? So my frequency's rising. My body's physically changing. I have these energies coming in, right? I've all these things, and eventually it snapped. And that's when the team, we call them the team, said, okay, now you have to get the divorce, because without the divorce, you can't continue going higher and higher. So basically I was locked in. And once the divorce happened, literally as the signature happened, I got hit hard with energies. So contracts are real, not only etheric, but in the real life. So did that answer that question pretty good? Yeah. You'll make that shift soon. Real soon. Like today or 2.5, but it's more about 2.5 months from now. So the divine omni consciousness stream, this thing that I merge with in the body, right? It continues to expand and grow depending on who's here. It allows me connection to nearly everything, right? So I can see your partner now without you mentioning who it is, their name, or anything, and I can see those things. I can do this doing text messaging 80 miles an hour down the freeway, right? I can do it over a beer too. I'm connected. And so when we're sitting here in this crowd, I'm connected to none of you, right? So, some of you are empaths, right? You'll walk into a store or something, you'll start picking up these energies. That is not how this works with me. Because there's so much intensity in what's taking place with me, my team shut that down. I don't know what's going on with anybody until you open your mouth and we start talking and you ask me a question. That's when things are connected.
Telepathic.
It's got clairsentience. So it's kind of like it comes out of me as a knowing. In fact, the less I think, the better the information comes out. Right. So the human, like even with your conversation, right? The human part of me says, I don't want to say that. Right. But they make me shut up and just let it flow. And I'm like, it sounds so rude. But they don't, apparently, but the way it's received is not necessarily how I perceive it. Right. And some people need to hear that harshness. And I have a hard time with that. I'm like, I don't want to tell them that. They're like, they need to know. God. But yeah,
Harsh, it's the ego that we perceive it's harsh, because for them, they say it as it is.
they say it the best they can because they don't know the human, right? And I got to tell you, I scream at my team all the time. I mean, I got to be their worst nightmare. I'm like, you got to stop doing this to my body. Yeah, I need to sleep. I don't sleep. I'm like, I need to sleep. And they're like, he'll be fine. I'm like, no, I'm not fine. So we go back and forth, right? Um, they don't seem to have the same comprehension of the human experience in any capacity, right? So you're right. They will just come out and say these things, right? But as a human delivering those messages, I don't want to be a jerk. Does anybody else want to be worked on?
Me.
Okay.
I'm a empath and a healer.
Mhm.
It takes so much out of me and
Okay.
you're drained all the time.
Okay, we can take care of that.
Thank you.
How are you feeling right now before I start?
At this moment, as soon as I spoke up, extremely dizzy, so I don't know what all is going on.
That's me. You will be dizzy as they move the energies in your body.
Okay.
I'm just gonna kind of discharge the energies for a moment, and then we're gonna bring in some coding for your field. Kuno suguri no kuno yandi kanera kabari ni shilere lere kalore kia kia kaliere kanero gane bari oratoria kalia nieto sholere bari oratoria kana akore bari kuni anore tishile kare. And by the way, everyone's receiving even though I'm working on her. Kuli oratari ni shiloro kore de uno ko mokore kia nidi no shuguro to karia malari and nutorio no kalia bari kuni anto karia ne karo to you have a friend here that needs to go. Kalia oratorio ta aliari and she me grab them. Kuli moretia karo to naka. Bye bye. Kaliariata and you should go drop it. Kalimapa aniata oriata alora but ora aro korea career your soul. I just pulled the soul aspect out of you that's nervous and shaking. Alia roto, this is the anxiety, the nervousness in the system. Kaliana mapale, let me just take care of her. Shoroti. So I see everything when I'm up there, right? Ora mapare oro toro korea mapaala aliata aloto oriata career riata shakoram is gonna take care of her. Nia pabayaki, and I'm gonna merge her back in with you. Shakori Akai, she just keeps putting to her chest, her heart. Kalele mablelia, nito korea no kalia, noria. I'm gonna look at your grid systems. Niariaro tori in the kamaria no kalia maba, aleo nochia nieta ala orieta aretoro korea nia, nieta anakaria maba, anieta alieno korea, kolema paria no onia, oleria no ria korea maba ala no nieta aliat karikaro. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring in the coding, which you're asking for, is to desensitize some of the empathetic input. Is that accurate? Is that what you're asking?
Well, I want to still be able to tune in though.
You'll be able to.
Okay.
You'll be able to tune in, but we're going to put in some coding, set coding to kind of shield from the environmental noise.
Okay,
Is that accurate?
sure.
Shikariari and Kalabara Korea, Kanino Korea, Moriatori, I'll talk about how this works in a minute. Kaliere and Kalia Lucaria Noria Torin Kamabari and Amabalano, the Lucari and Karotari, or Amabali and Rotina can Loretta Canianda Kalir, Noretaro Tori Kishi, Nakinikanakaria, Shakilori Amaparia, Aleria Aroto Korea Nokaria Mapario Noria Tariti and Nokoria Tariti, Shakaro, Doshakoria Mamaria Taka. Okay, so you may or may not have felt any of that. Okay, so did you feel it?
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah. So I have access to what they call all the codes. When somebody wants something, light language is based on what your intention is. My intention was to work on your, right? And that's the language that comes through. My intention is to work on your field. The activations and the codes came through, right? So the way this works is when somebody says, I need to have this activated or throat chakra opened up or whatever the case is, third eye, you name it. You want to connect to your multidimensional self and some other planet. Okay, well, that's a code as well. All these happen. It is literally just the intention and they do all the work. You look a little crazy. Are you good? You're looking at me. You have any questions? Okay, just checking. So this allows me to show up in crowds. I mean, I had an event the other day with 1,200 people in it, right? And we work on them. Now, everyone in that event, even though I'm speaking the same word, everyone's hearing the same thing. Everybody's getting something different based on whatever they showed up for. right? So I had a video released by a woman named Elizabeth April 2 weeks ago. It's got 130,000 views right now. And Claudia, if you were to look at the video and you look at the thousands and thousands of comments, you'll recognize everyone in there is having a different experience, and they're commenting about how these things has shifted them. And most of them can't sleep the first night or two. Just this does disrupt the sleep. In fact, I'll find as I purge the trauma out of people, you'll find that they just start busting out in tears, and they will do that for the next day as well. So I'm able to go into where the trauma is stored in the body, right? Into the root, into the sacral, into the solar plexus, actually. And in the solar plexus, I'm able to see the alternate realities you're existing in, and what I call bleed overs or bleed through. Those memories of that trauma that's not ours, we don't know where it's coming from. It's in the solar plexus, so I can see those things. I'm able to shut those down and pull that out. And the same thing with the heart. I'm able to see what's in the heart. I'm able to see the trapped emotions in the physical body as well. So this is one of the things I do. And in fact, my YouTube channel, I did a video, I did a group yesterday. No, I don't even know what day it is. It was Thursday. I did three. This is my fourth event. I did three events. So Thursday I did an event. I think there's 200 people on there or so, but I went ahead and decided to put that on YouTube, right? It's a healing. If you can get through the YouTube ads, you're going to love it.
What's the name of it?
It's kenlloyd.official. That's my channel.
They're on YouTube. You can
Oh,
find it?
yeah. Well, you'll see, if you go to YouTube and just type in kenlloyd.official, you'll see my videos there. Right. And then the Instagram is kenlloyd.official. My Facebook's kenlloyd.official. My Facebook group, it's got about 1,700 people in it. And it's the evolutionary Ken Lloyd, the evolutionary human. So what the team is doing, even in an overarching sense, is they're modifying me so that I can show up for you to show you what you can do. Right? Yeah.
Is the goal for you to reach as many people as possible?
Well, they're doing everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, millions. And then I had a hypnosis done on me about 3 months ago with a woman named Barbara Lamb. If you guys know her, right? She's the person, right? So I had the hypnosis done on her, and she doesn't have any questions for me. She didn't have any questions. She's like, I haven't seen this before. So, and what came out in hypnosis was not millions of people, but billions of people I'm here for. Now, don't let that sound egoic for a moment. There's what they call the ripple effect, right? So as I work on you, what happens, your frequency raises, okay? You being in proximity to the others also has a ripple effect of those around you. So this is what it is. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, large. And I'm here for the masses. Right now, yeah.
Question. So if somebody watches your videos, say on YouTube, and you're doing light language,
Mhm.
are they gonna be able to benefit from that?
Yes.
Okay.
So nothing's linear. Everything's quantum, right? So when they're connecting to it, they're getting their codes even a year later.
Okay, got it.
Absolutely. So big mission, and it sounds crazy and it sounds egoic, but when we look at the 130,000 views from the EA video the other day, the teams like that hit 1 million people because of the ripple effect, right? So this is the mission. Yeah.
Everything's quantum from quantum physics.
The human uses the word quantum. We will just say everything is there now, here or there. It's very, very different than what the human understands. Everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Consciousness persists everywhere in all realities and all dimensions. The only way the human can understand it is the theory of quantum. So he'll use those terms.
Physics.
I suppose. I don't know quantum. I'm so dumb. Intentionally. I'm ignorant of the human body intentionally. I couldn't tell you to look at a full moon and spin around backwards twice to manifest something. But I can remove the energy preventing what you're looking for coming in. I see the energies. But I have no spiritual background, and I still don't, right? And that's intentional. And I don't have a medical background because I got to tell you, I'm pretty sure there's a subpoena coming at some point, right? So yeah, so I don't talk about nutrition, even though I see things. I won't tell you what I see. I just move the energy, period, right? No stories. No stories. And you could show up and say, my knee, I smashed it in a car accident, or I was, whatever, right? No, I'll shut you down. No stories. No stories. They will tell me how many past lives were associated with your shoulder. I'm like, no stories. We remove them immediately, right? If I gave you the story of why your shoulder hurt from this war and the Civil War and whatever, guess what you're going to do? You're going to, well, why was I there? Why did I have that outfit on? Why did I do my hair like that? Right? Whatever it is, you're going to start honing in on that story, and you're going to bring that energy right back in. So the team doesn't do stories. I could. I did in the beginning. And, I don't now. When I remove trauma, especially childhood trauma, nothing good comes out of that. So I shut down all those images and visions. I'm like, I don't want to see it. I just want to pull the energy out and be done. Right. So yeah. Anybody have any questions? Yeah.
Well, I've been having in the last few years psychic experiences,
Mhm.
profound situations. I would like to know if there's any way I can perfect them or control them or improve them.
When you relax into them, they show up anyways. You're almost there. We simply say that you do have some blockages in the center pillar, that can be removed. There's a little fuzziness in the pineal as well. So I'll do that for you if you'd like. But one of the things that I have found over and over and over with people is that we really do try so hard with our own spiritual journey, right? I want to be a psychic. I'm making this up, right? I want to connect to my team. What do they look like? And why isn't it happening? Why isn't it happening? And the moment you just drop it, 3 weeks later, it happens, right? And this is kind of where you're at. So let me clean that tube, and then I'll work on the pineal. And just kind of pay attention to how you feel we're doing this. They're unwinding something in the center of you. It's like a little tornado vortex all the way up. It's anchored in the root. And I can zoom in and I can see what's happening, or zoom out, or I can shift the scenes, whatever I need to do for the visualization. Ama bariani di dieto shakalo cario barigoniato and go barigoniata barotari and acaro barigoniere toriari tiri shigiri to listen out of the root. Shikoro Koreama Baleano Tori Rotary Arotoria Muruaro Tori nobody or notary and Natari the Shilia Coleari, they're activating the sacral, whatever that's about. Colealo Riali Rieteliero Rietocorian Mabaliano Tariat, it's getting sucked into the solar plexus. Hold on. Allow Roto Coleari and the Carrier weren't allowed to happen. Shakoro Barigoniata Ratari gets set in the back where it came from. Coremotoria Kineta Cariana Cariago sure it's going to take a moment. I'm in the solar. Close the portal. All the way up. All the great divine directors here. It's actually above you. Bring him in. Kaluria niere aro torina ka aleoriati and a careto crea mamalaria naro nori and nordini ni at the end of the cari and get it going to the pineal. Chicago is a lot that needs to be done. Coroto to get Matacariga, Shocopa cara do it. Caliano Kunikaniate near the Arlo Takari, Shikiri and Carborotoria, Mamalari, and each Gorigabarigonata, and Ani or Cabario no Caria Pacaleria talk done. Okay. How do you feel?
Wow, yeah, I was feeling something mainly this area,
Yeah.
a little bit on my legs and arms, and then my forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
It's like now, it's like boom.
uh-huh.
Yeah. So whatever blockage you had actually originated out of the solar plexus, which is kind of where we do our astral travels at, right? When we go at night and I don't do it. I do it, but I'm dreaming of puppy dogs and kitty cats. Like they don't give me anything. I want to know what I'm doing. They won't show me, right? So what happens here is when we do that, we get what I call, again, bleed throughs or travelers or energy that comes back through the solar plexus and out. And that's what happened with you. So it was an active channel. So that just kind of closed it. When they got ready to close it down, they just pulled the energy back in through and closed it down. So the team doesn't do harm to anybody. Even when I'm dealing with the yuckies, right, which is just a polite word for those things that, are really, really bad, right? I call them the yuckies. Like I don't do the whole dark and light thing. Everything's consciousness. But even when we remove those, they're gone. And the body shifts as well because the body's impacted by that energy so bad. Yeah.
What about karmic imprinting?
No longer necessary. No longer necessary. So again, everything's shifting with the human evolution. You guys, when we talk about the human evolving over 100,000 years or whatever it is, right? Went from this to that, and we look at the last 100, 200 years or so, look how much the human has evolved, right? With technology and everything else. You are literally sitting right now in the evolution of the human body. Okay. This is what's taking place. In order for that to take place, all that heavy energy, again, like the hip, the yuckies, needs to be removed from the collective. As that happens, we all become in contact with our own teams. Our own spiritual development comes online, and our bodies begin shifting and changing. The whole idea of the crystalline body, that's me. This is why my body feels like static electricity and white noise all the time. This is why my face goes numb when I don't move. This is them shifting the human body. I'm not the only one, but they are fast tracking some. So there's what they call the 100 monkey effect. Have you guys heard of that before?
Yep.
Right? Well, this is what's happening with me and a few others out there. They tell me there's 10 others like me. The 100 monkey effect. As these energies shift and change other people, they change more and they change more. They are rapidly accelerating the evolution of the human being right here in front of our eyes. So I just happen to be the guinea pig. So actually, this is my job. Yeah.
Can you help me with my heart and lungs?
Well, so I can remove the energy associated with the thing you're asking for. I'm not a doctor. So what's going on with the lungs? What's going on with the lungs?
Well, I have sleep apnea.
Okay. So what I want you to do is just take a breath in. I call this a baseline. Okay, good. All right. Shiliata kari atia no koya no koya la and kalo kalero ni olian halia no ni atalia they want the heart done. Alalo ria will do that second. Kaliorieti aleria ro torre kiniet they talk to me when I'm doing this through the clear sentence. Shilero kalana marioni and papaliaro to Nuri on a closer view. Koliana marioni abadi orietari arieto roto koria baratari aro to robot konia barconiana kinu so to nikabagi and the nieti niataliato so shakalo kamabalia still more. Chicago Cabarioni, another Retori and Laboratori, Kini, Shigino, Barconi, and Cabariana, Elodi, Barotari, and the Caragari, Bersuri, and Maroti, and Cariana, Kenya, Shakuro, Carabarconiana, Bariconiana, Caniana, Cabarican, no skin a little higher. Shakuro, I'm going to go into the Frashkariakia. Near Rebrionore, Ariano Carabarco, the Rota, and the Caniana, Camariconiara, Canorica, Rotary, and Yeshigaro, Borcorino, Churri, Nebaranama, my Anedi, Roberto, Noria, Norian Marionari, and Gami, Chatakore, Shaka. Noria Mabari and Aniet, okay, you work with the top. Korea Mabariaro, Chakari, Mapa, Aniet, the Kari rebuild. Karia no Karia, Nieto, Nianari, and Tishi. Go ahead and take another breath.
That was a deeper breath.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you.
So one of the things that happens, even with you, is the body part I'm working on will animate. They'll smile at me and they'll animate, right? Which is them saying, okay, we received. So that's how they do that. So we're going to do the heart real quick. Show me just the cardio system. Clinical Alena Bariona Kari and Okariamado, Torican Maricon Terriero, Torica Mario Shaka, American, American, Shakuro Mario Nati, Shin, Nick Sikina, Tario Rotary on Okariamata, Liro, Toria Calera, Taria, Nochcalar, Colina, Italiana, Colar, Colero, no, Chicago, Toyama, I did drop it, cut him up, to cut a hold. Karika into the heart. Shikora Camarora Ama Ala Roto Rekira Caro Carianda Shinata Aniata Roto in the Correta Carianda Carianda Cari. I need to go into your emotions in a minute. Caloria Naria Lotor, Shikoro do Calabari, I gotta spread them out. I'm gonna go to your heart chakra. Karimapa in the Shikodia drop. Nishakalari Aro Torre nobody on Aria Bariaro Kiri Calari and Nuchi Mariaro Tori and nobody on the knitting and that Yeshu and Braconiente and Arwani and bringing it in the Caprio, Shukoria, I'm just pulling the emotions up that's creating the condition. Chicago Caro, Teria Mariero Calera Calari Aria Calere, Chicago Coricam, Nodo, the screen at the Calana, that you know the Shakori that got a release. Come on. Alore, she's holding on to it. I am a Kanya Takadakun, Amaba Anani again at the hidden and suppressed. Chishikoro, Korea, Calero, Korea, Mabariano, Korea, Notorio, Shikola, Mabariano, Bariano, Toriana, Papa, Dakar, close and support. back to the heart. Shikali or kabali or amari and ari and yadu, that's much better. Kalari drop. Could mapari and that and could all of it. Could mapari and I'll explain in a second. Rebuild. Could mabaliaro turia. Shikaro no karamaba alari. How does your chest feel? You probably won't notice it because it's inside, but it's going to be hard for you even. You're not going to know until it doesn't happen. Yeah. So what's that?
It's okay.
Yeah, you're okay. So you'll hear me say the words like drop, right, or dissolve. The team, and it happened only once, they said, we want to take you to the Syrian Mystery School. I'm like, what the hell is that? Sure enough, in meditation, because they took me into it, I end up in this room. And there's this teacher, whatever you want to call him, an ET at the end of it. And he says, listen, he said, I want you to rub your hand over this. So I want you to imagine a loaf of bread for a moment. Okay, just a loaf of bread. And I know on a little tray. And he's like, I want you to rub your hand over this. And again, this is just meditation. I'm like, oh, whatever. So I did because I'm kind of a smart ass. Okay, did it. And it all dropped down into this black dust, right? Just all of a sudden. I'm like, what the hell is that? He said, rub your hand over it again. I did it again, and it instantly appeared as fresh bread. That's how you do your healing from now on, Ken. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? That was 2 years ago. So what happens here is as I'm moving your energy fields, and you can imagine a hula hoop going up and down the body, and you literally, I see the body demolecularizing, if that's even a word, into these little tiny dots. And this is the energy shifting. And then I'll issue the dissolve command, and that organ will just completely disappear. And the rebuild is like a 3D printer. And that's when I told you to take the breath. That's when your pain went away. We don't know about you. No, just kidding. Just messing with you. Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's two things in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, I know you're not a doctor, but I'm having a hard time with the medication and the prescription drug they say I should be taking.
Uh-huh.
I'm really struggling like with the side effect of
Yeah.
blood pressure and fatigue.
Yeah,
So I'm wondering if you can just reboot me.
I can do that.
Okay.
We're going to try to neutralize the side effects of the pharmaceuticals. I'll explain that in a minute too. Pull that consciousness out. Everything has a consciousness. The condition has a consciousness. That's what I pulled out. Doing the whole body. Noro tori kine kari area tori no shugor da kama bria no kari ma bria di tori ati alo aba guri no oni ante kili ro ne karo to kari mbari ni reta rata no tori na kari shikalo ro koria to shakoto ya na rota niete shigeri no kari shikaro rata ri rotari. There's an energy here off to the right. Kalia nakaria kalia kare shikode kare contracts 3 bird shikaria tekiria ala ona bria na karo shiko. One more time. Chicago, Emily, no Calera, Caloria, but on a Caporto, Caribbean, no sugar, the Conan, but again, Canino Calero, the Yidin do Suria, Chocola, Cali, or Cadia, in the Caneta, no, the Gorgonia, Italian, Cabador, Amabal, and Chicanina, Chicanino, Borio, Coria Mabaria, and yet there's still another one. Coria, that wasn't a bad one. That was just something that didn't be there anymore. Coria Mabari rebuild, Coria Mabaliaria to Coria. Now they're going to bring some coding down. I'll explain that in a minute. This is binding to the cells of the body. Get creating an energy frequency distortion field. Caloria mabaliaro ko shikoli na kalere kileri atige shikaro ka mabaliaro tori na kalena barino kania ani nako almost there. Kalena ko allow liet na kulo no kaya mapari ania kilo ko no ni ka again skini and the Korea. Okay. So what it's funny you should ask about side effects. How do you feel?
I felt a lot of pounding and pulsing and then a lot of pressure here.
Okay. So my business development girl, her name's Dr. Amron. She's a doctor. She's also a shaman. This is the woman that I sit down with, and she helps me understand the problems people are facing. I have a hard time with human and being human. It's not a joke. I've been in isolation for so long, like I don't even know how to enjoy myself, and I'm not complaining. So I don't know what's going on in the world. I don't know the problems people are facing. But she's like, listen, and we did this about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We sat down. She says, I want to ask the KDC. KDC's what we nicknamed Ken's Divine Collective. Everything in me is the Divine Collective. So she will ask them a question and they will channel. And she's like, well, what do we do about these side effects of these pharmaceuticals? Now, I'm not a doctor, everyone on the recording, right? That's just for the subpoena in the future. And what they explained to me, they said everything is consciousness, including the side effects of the pharmaceuticals, right? They can place coding, again, coding programs, if we will, coding that will neutralize the energy of the consciousness of the side effects of the pharmaceuticals. And that's actually in my catalog. I've got 60 different things in my catalog you can buy, and the different codes and such, depending on what you're looking to activate, because getting a hold of me is kind of hard lately. So yeah, that's what they did. So what they actually did is in each one of the cells, because they just show one cell, but it's the cells of the body, they put an energy distortion field around it so that when the energy that's unintended from the delivery of that hits your cells, dissipates, the energy dissipates, the consciousness of that is removed. So this is what they do. And it doesn't matter if I'm connected to you for just a few seconds or if I'm sitting here doing the marathon hour and a half, right? Time is just, it is what it is. In fact, most of my stuff in my catalog is only 4 or 5 minutes long as they deliver whatever they need to deliver. Yeah.
There's two things in the chat.
Yeah.
I see her hands up. So Don Daniels talks about shoulder replacement online. He's online.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
Jeremiah asks about clearing for the healers in the group to benefit their abilities.
We can do that. That looks like fun. Great question. Let me take care of the guy with the shoulder real quick here. I just want to read what he's got going on here. I just need to know right or left shoulder, Don. Pop it in there, please. So as soon as he places, okay, left, hold on a second here. I see the trapped energy in there. Open him up. Grab that. So they show me objects as well. Body no di nakari, it's going to be a 3. Shakori no abaria, mopo no di amapa alia. Step that out. Kurioto, Kuriamapa alaria, tiro, a lot of emotions in there. Rebuild. Koliali and Akari, there's still stuff in the back. Shakoro the Kabali, Korianabari, and Ani, and Shakoro the Kabari, Nabari, Rotori, and Akari, rotated in Shina, the Kinetic Rotori, and Ambari, Rotori, and Shina, Rukabari, and Niatemabari, and the Kariaka just shoot it dissolve again. Takariama Paria, rebuild. Korea Ashaka move the shoulder. Noria Taria, Tiria, and the Karoto, Korean arm up on top. Korea no Shukari, and the Korean relax it. Korea Don, you should have some relief. Just kind of let us know in the chat if you got any shift there. So usually I'll have people move their body part as I'm working on them, right? And I'll have them stand up and walk around the knees. I had a lady that was 29 and she owned a conscious company or a conscious health company or whatever, right? Yeah, then now that muscles relaxed. I'll help you and I'll relax them just a little bit more in a minute, Don. So she comes in and she's got this notebook. She says, I want to have all of these things activated. She's conscious, spiritual, right? Turn this on, turn that on. I'm like, listen, no problem, Alex, but you're not going to know the results of those for a couple weeks later until your team's ready for them to be activated. I said, you got anything physical? She says, yeah. She says, I can't bend my knees. I'm like, what do you mean you can't bend your knees? She says, no. Since age 3, I can't actually squat. So I'm like, you got to show me. It was an in-person thing. So she stands up and she just barely moves her knees. She's like, that's it. That's all I got. I said, okay. So she sat down, 45 seconds, probably no longer than what I did for you. And she got up. I'm like, do it again. She went all the way down for the first time in like 26 years, right? Total bawling out of her eyes, right? The lung stuff that we just did here happens all the time where you get the lung capacity back, right? And they talk about the ability for the lungs to absorb more efficiently the oxygen that's coming in. So these stories happen all the time. It's to the point now where if someone's showing up on my one-on-ones and they don't get a shift, the red flags go up. And when that happens, it's typically the egoic mind. So when you have someone who's been traumatized, right? The ego will keep you from receiving healing because it doesn't know what energy is coming in. So it'll dissipate it and block it. And as soon as that happens, I go in and I talk to the ego. And I have to remove the trauma off the ego, and allow the ego to feel that Christ consciousness that comes out of me. So it allows me to do the healing. And as soon as that happens, the body relaxes and the codes are delivered. Give me 1 second. I want to finish Don real quick here. Oh, shit, no, and then I got it Jeremiah too. I haven't got your Jeremiah. Open them up. There's a creepy crawly in there. Or is it just a term for energies? Ko to ya nakali na ko rin ka little arjuan. Ma paria na kari kina arak korea kari. Yo taka ma pa niya tali no kari na kali na shikoli na kari. This portal, close it. Kari shikoli na paria nitia. And then rebuild. Kalia alia. Nuria ali and the key. Shikori na ana amoriata. That should be better for you, Don. You have a question back there?
Oh, I was gonna say after the healing for the healers, I have carpal tunnel syndrome.
Okay, cool. Yes, sir.
Has a chat too.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Tammy in the chat.
Okay, let me take care of Jeremiah. He's like literally been here as long as I have. Okay. So let me get his you want a clearing for all the healers in the group to benefit their ability to help other. So there's really two things, Jeremiah. There's a clearing and there's activations, right? Are you looking for both? You can just yeah, let's kind of do both. Sekali kena pada rotor kena pada ni kena kena pada si ler kador kena pada nuri pada dia kena pada ni pada pada tari kena pada ni pada pada tadi kena pada tadi kena are nar pada rotor ya rotor kena pada ni kiri sih kata kaya kena are kena pada rotor kena pada ni kena pada si ler kiri syukur kena pada ni pada anak kena pada ni kena pada ni kena rotor ni adu kena pada ni pada ni kena pada ni are rotor ni pada ni pada janda tu dia syukur dia pada rotor kena pada ni ada kena pada ni jadi ni sekali kiri aku syukur kena are rotor berat kena tak karo pada tu kena pada ni kena pada ni kena pada ni aro kombre ni pada no syukur dia kombre untuk kena tak karo pada ni kena pada rotor kena pada ni pada ni pada ni pada ni tu kena pada ni kena karo pada ni rotor tadi ni di sini tu rotor da mama yang dari pada ni karya sekito syukur syukur dia dat kara ko jike morgo ni tari ora kari pada rotor na ni sekito to korea tari ati kena sekito can bring your codes down. These codes will be designed for everyone individually to amplify their connection and amplify what they do. To yama ala ari aro ko yama pareno ko yano ko ari tele lo ko yano naro yama bale lo re re ani ara alo re malo ne do yama bale no te rotari ri sini te kini okria sekarang kali yama bale no ko ni na kali na ala no bo no re to kini na kali aro ko skor ler ka mabare no ama baro ni te ni ata alo re ko no ara ni te ke sigada kali na kini te kini te kali ro ka mo le ni mabale no amboro ora ni te ari orke no kini ara badi ngoni kan badi ko no te kini baro no rotori ke na re aro to ra bado na abri no re yama re askuria shakiri rotoria Morio nama beri no kari no kari ni tiri ni tiri sekolah dulu kan sekolah pergi ini tari ar kora pergi ni roka rotor rotor ari takaro rotor di namanya kono kono sini takani takani no dia na teri takaro tori na kari tikisia. How's everyone feel? Do you guys feel tingles and whatever the case is? I don't. So when I do the groups, right, everyone receives but me. I wear glasses. I can heal eyes. I can't heal my own. Right? I got ankle problems. I can heal ankles. Can't heal my own. Funny how that works. Well, because I'm in the middle of a transition stage, a transformation stage. It's like, why do it? We'll just wait until he's done. I don't think it's ever done. I've been waiting a while, but that's what they tell me. Okay. Yeah, so Bert's got the tingles, right? All right, so hold on. I want to go back up to you said Tammy, right? Oh no, you. What hand? No, so I take your other finger
Yes.
and point to where the discomfort's at. So okay, so when you squeeze it, I can't quite see that far because I wear glasses. I just need to know where the pain's at.
Tingling, thumb, pointer finger, middle finger.
Kulure abri anari no kuri rio to yanaya mama yanana manunda de nata de nata de rota da rabari the corota kenya teriana rotori mariendo doriti ni shiati shakaro tori. They're all changing my voice because they're all kind of clamored up there having fun. So hold on. Nia sakalo re korea nia re aro to re kileri no karabario no korea no le no kara mario nero re no bario ke nia te kale ara korea bali ero to re ari ni shigilero korea na kari and ki sakalo korea no korea ma bali ero di further down korea ma bali na kare no bali na kane to korea ma bali just korea por re kine kane no kare ma bali nia te ni korea I pull that condition out korea pa pa bye kare ma bali ni korea rebuild Kali on ni shi ni kalori no korea baka there's still some discomfort in there if you're a 10 where are you at now?
If I was in a ten?
Yeah, 10 is just kind of the number we use as baseline. Yeah, there's still a little bit there. So same spot, still a little lower. Yeah. Kiluchika, that's what I'm seeing. To open her up. Come on, out. You need to get out. Thank you. Koreama Balia Karia dissolve. Koreama Paniata. Kirino Kaparia no she rebuild. Kariora Kinia Roti. How are you now? Are you okay?
I'm okay, yeah, maybe it will take time.
No, it doesn't take time.
So, I still feel some tingling.
How's the discomfort?
Uh. 3 or 2.
Yeah.
Stems from the base of the neck, I know.
So does the neck need to be worked on too?
Yeah, this is where it's from.
Okay, so do you have a range of motion issue? Like, I mean, does it hurt when you do this? I mean, that's what I need to know. Okay, thanks. And is it left side, right side, and middle?
The center, it's like what the doctors have said. And then it's true.
A second. Yeah. Nishigali alano kaliana malayali and kalero can repair the nerve. Kaliaro to Koliama Baleri, Aro to Korean Carriere, Roscalia, Calora Calia, Caroto Retieshi, Shakoro, the Coro, the Calapa, Calania, Italia, Nicalia, Tikinia, Italia, Coria, Pabriania, Taria, Kiri, have a lot of emotions that are trapped in there. Hold on a second here, they want to do something different. Nishigalora Calia and Caballero, Cananian to Koreana, Pariana, Korea, Pariania, to Korea, Neria, Shakora, Mabariania, negative shit, I do it again. Shakori Maparianoti and Natalia Canabarico, Camarigonia, Shakora, Bariaroto, Shakori the Combayanda Caroto, Nishika and Bukana, Niaki, Notiana, Nieta, Netoni, all the way to the left. Korea Mapanikina, Aloria to carry build. Korea Rotoria Nishini Korea, Aleato, Nokiado, and Ania, Nuskala, Lucania, Nushigania, no Naria. It should start calming down a little. How's it feel? Is it hot? Everyone's different. How's the range of motion?
Maybe a little better.
Just a little better. Okay, so take your other point. I mean, is it like dead center? Because it was pretty thick when I was looking at it. All right, hold on. We'll get you a little relief here. Kuliana paror torino corena ariano crea amboliano caleana de schedule cala amboliano caleana calero tiara careora tacaro carea canal carea chicalo calele meliano carea calore colana no diatia calia de caleona kiniatoria. You have layers and layers here. Kulina colala calene carea tecala and that no come up at it caniata caracore papa shakari aniata nitoliane chilero corea Chicago Calabariano Calero Tariana Ambalero Calera Mabrini Italiano Caramba Parkini Calocabano Coleara to Core Notakiniata Nieta alla Nutini Scala Cunaparia not Nerato Shike Shakalia Shuria Tarniatini Shikalia Maparia. Any difference? You got to move your neck.
I need a minute.
Okay. You're so stiff. You're so stiff. Okay.
Work on it, I swear.
All right, no worries. You said there's some. Hold on a second.
There's 2 people in the chat, Tammy and somebody else. Let's see. Yeah, Tammy wanted the gut and left heel pain, and then we have.
So this is what happens in my groups, right? I got to shut them down on Wednesday. I'm like, I can't do this forever. But yeah, so
As long
I know who Ninja 88 is.
But if you want to stop earlier, just.
Yeah. Like, just tell me what you want. You just guy, who do you want to do?
Me?
No,
Oh.
she's telling me what I'm doing. Yeah. Can I help? Okay, so I'm going to do one thing. I'm not because there's too much here, right? So I'm going to do the gut thing for you, Tammy.
Thank you.
And again, everyone's receiving as I do this, right? It's not just for that person. Everyone's getting their thing. So When we do the gut, usually they do the large intestine, the small intestine, and the stomach, all of them as a system. So give that a second.
Question. Can you compare down system?
Remember, I'm not repairing anything. What's happening here is when we shift these energies, the energies that are good, what happen, the body will go back to its naturally healed state when you remove what I call the energy interference. Your body is naturally healed. It's all that interference that keeps it from showing up. So when we remove that, what does your body do? Goes back up the way it's supposed to show up. So it's
A
not
lot of things have been damaged, physically damaged.
your human blueprint has not been damaged. This is the blueprint that creates the physical body, the fields around you. We have to move away from the idea that our body's damaged. Our fields are damaged. Repair the energy fields, and the body shows up based on the imprint coming down. Right. So I don't know what happened to your hip, as an example, right? Or how how many years you had of that going on. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. I had a lady who was 24. She was a paramedic, and she was diagnosed with the brain tumor, a brain tumor that had no curable disease, right? And they gave her 2 months to live or something like that. And she was already spiritual, right? She, don't get me wrong, she's doing her thing. So I had a session with her, and she had an MRI 2 days later, and they came back with a diagnosis of NED, no evidence of disease. It's been 5 years now. She has to have an MRI every 2 months because this particular brain cancer, brain tumor, is so aggressive that it can kill you within 2 months once it's diagnosed. So every 2 months she goes for the MRI, is gone. So did the team? It's not me, it's the team. I'm not doing, all I'm doing is open my mouth and letting them show up and throw up, as I say, right? That's what I tell them, show up and throw up. They're just moving the energies. That's it. Right? They're not healing anybody. No healer heals anybody. They move energies and the body responds.
You have time for more? After.
I think she wants me to. I want to do Tammy real quick. Oh, I mean, whatever. Not like I got a life. I'm God. This was fun. This was fun for me. Like this. So this is all good. But
Well, it's up to you. I'm not gonna stop it or.
yeah. So let's take care of the ones that
And then you had a question too, right? You had a question.
we'll do Tammy, and then we'll do. So I'm going to go ahead and just do everyone's. Well, I'm going to do everyone's in the groups: large intestine, small intestine, and some. I'm just going to reset the energetic print. Shikalera calore mariona calera colera mariona corre torre che non ricordo per coniano che per coniani che niente corre coniano per coniani carro terra per toriano che per coniani che non riesce a capariona apriona capriona di briona dini non riesce na rogi na ria na per non riesce ne riesce shakoro rotori na aria reti na ria rotori na pariarati di roci move it up coliamo balearo coliana calore non riamo baleano corro torre che per riesce che non riamo per the Calio, Tori, I don't know what you are, but you can go bye-bye. Kalarka Nashakaria. Nori Napoli, and a Carriaro, Tori, Nishido Karamabani, no Korea Mabali, Rotorio, Shakolo, Korea, no Amabri, no Amabali, and Denny, and the Shakolo, Kalabari, moving into the small intestine. Shikali, Riani, Amaya, Nakama, and Nakane, Shikaria, Shikalo, Calabri, Nabariaro, Taria, Rotori, Amabalaro, and Amami, and the Canada, and the Atea, the Nesho, the Kalabari, and Apabri, and the Carota, like a stomach Coriaro, to Shakuri, Takaria, Narotori, Mariani, Shakolo, Cabalaro. Nama balaro ni duri bari bariaro dore ni tele shini da capri on gina pa anati di gori tu sia shikalo re capare atto curi and korea mat kare reset the bottom shikola mabalaro to shikalo re capri on bari ni ari retoriaro torre teri che ne shikene re capare anu male mali no calaro che li dore bari goni to che ne bari ni to che ne bari ni to che ne kare con bari ni bari ni bari ni bari no bari ni bari ni ara oni ana shikolo re bari oni and ya shikalo re capri on rotori na ari ni shikolo re cola mori no che ne bari no coria rotori and carota niente che loro che non ne proveniamo per dire che loro claro che non guardi ore rete ci do con non per sono di non te ne bariera ci che loro che niente che non che bari ci che loro che nani era che tra ci caro co ma per dissolve che ma pacca ma poco ma paccaria ne tari na caro corro no che rebuild cario ari in the kishia. So even in that case when I do the dissolve I'm actually literally looking through your body as if nothing was in the middle. Everything's gone. And the rebuild, the organs, it's funny, the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine actually give each other high fives when they're done. Animate to let me know that they've received, but they do the high fives because they let me know that all three of them are now in sync with the energies, right? And I find a lot of the digestive stuff seems to be the small intestine, not the stomach. So, cool. You guys are all feeling that? Some of you guys? Yeah, right. Good luck sleeping tonight. Yeah.
Yes, so I have a question and then I have a request. Do you do work on others? Like if I were to tell you, oh, my mom has this
Nope.
or something, no, they have to be.
No, this it's an ethical thing.
Okay.
If your mom has dementia or something, as an example, right, and she can't make the decision herself, I will go talk to your mother's soul and get permission, right? But you can say, hey, can you work on my brother? No, as an example, right? So if they're in a coma, they have something like that, then I'll go at the soul level. Children 18 and under, I'll do with the parents' permission. But beyond that, no, I can't cross those ethical lines. I don't work on anybody, but I won't. That's a really dangerous line to cross. Some people don't want to be worked on in the 3D, regardless of what their soul says. So permission's incredibly important to me.
So you have to get it directly from them.
I prefer it.
Okay, so now my thing is, I've never been able to move this arm, like this arm. I don't.
Ever? Never?
Not as far as I can remember.
Okay.
I don't have a full range of motions with this arm. It's this whole shoulder.
You have 3 contracts. There's some magic on there. Gotta bring it over to the right. Dissolve. Shukolo Korea Mapaliana, Aliero Kaliero Kalero Calamity, Norigabadiano Carriera, Brigodia to Korea to Shunuko just pissed off somebody. Kalorama Balanich School, Kuru Kapapakaria, Kia, come forward. Korea on the Ala, both of you over to the right. Kalea Kala, Koro, there's a council that just showed up. Nita Nikala, Nita Skoro to Konoto in permission. Kalea Kana, Nita Kana Kodokia, those two are going to go bye bye. Kalea Lotik and Nori, they're going to be taken. By who? I don't care. Where they go, I don't care. So I don't harm anyone. They just go where they need to go. Kaliana alia. Alia aloria, you have a ferry by you. Alia alia kaloria na ania shukuru koniama ba ala ara. O mama ya nieta alia adia kidoria shikaru ku. Shikalia kala aria koria ala aria. Kaliana kalor kenia di nieti. Shikalo kariama bakania takinia tinia chinia takaro kunama bariana ania teri. Pull that out. Korea aria takaliana karia shukurima baria rebuild. Kariore kia, karia, nia tori aria, shilora karia, karia, kolia mamalaria, rokaria, mabaria, nekaria, can they work on the brain? Hold on a second. Shikalo Kamario, no reto, korea, but on the to the nebaria, neti, shinera, karia, calore, nabaria, alaria, rotoria, and even the brain doesn't know how to move that. Kaliori, amabalari, and a carreta, cariano, cabaria, no shukoria, bariata. I see if anything shifted. Those are really hard things sometimes.
That's as far as I can go.
Yeah, nothing changed, right?
Not that I can tell.
Yeah, you didn't feel any energy in the shoulder?
No.
Yeah, so this is probably a longer conversation. All right. So you, especially when you start dealing with magic, because I had to pull magic off of there, right? So yeah, not this year's magic, but old stuff. So
You mean a curse or?
we'll just call magic.
Okay.
Just call it magic, right? Kaliat is ancestral magic that was placed on there. That moved through 2 past lives as well. So it's going to come in layers. So yeah. Huh? Everyone wants on the list, yeah.
Well, there's more in the chat. I don't know if you want to do this and.
You're picking it out.
Okay, I'll pick it out. Okay, Beverly has pain stuck in the neck and shoulders, both sides, worse on the right side.
Yeah, I want to help Ninja 88 on there too. So give me a second. Yeah, did anything shift through neck back there yet?
Yeah, actually, honestly, yeah,
All right, good.
it's softer.
It'll continue to work on you. I just wanted to check.
That's
No, see, that's the thing. Everyone thinks it takes time. And when we start believing, oh God, it's going to be weeks, we are already slowing the progress down. So by doing pain first, right, it allows all of us to open up to the idea of holy shit. Now? Yeah, now. Not always. There's layers and layers, but yeah. Yeah, give me a second. Let me take care of Beverly. So literally, as she's asking, the team's tapped into her. I don't know who Beverly is. I don't need to know. So, no offense, Beverly. What are you? I don't like you. So over to the right, just this overarching energy above her. Very, very commanding energy. Pull them out of her. I'm surprised that's not affected more than that, Beverly. Ali Ario to Korea and Carota Paporioto, Scalo Calero Mariani, Italia, and Ario, and Arikishiri comes a relief. No cariam valore che niente calore ore no cariam mariscinetia. Shikala la rotare kinieteri and notaria notaria the cabaria nitoria toria loreti shikalo the calena bariaria calia rocoli and aparia the cadere literally steam coming off your shoulders. Calia leloria and a calera calaria calera calore calaria rati et tocorio. There's another one in there. We pull this aspect out. Kia sekin karo korea nia karia ki kishkuno korea clearia retoria papakaria karuataria shikako kaya mapa ania na ania paria boria na karia nataria noria no ania taria. There's another layer. Pull them out. Moon motions. Karia takaria. So you Beverly has some yuckies on you. That's what I call it. Karia maparia na aria. Toshakara kapapakania to karia mapaya. Paria naratoria korea. Noria aria na karia. You should be getting some relief now. Thanks.
Ninja.
Oh, wait, we had a couple questions real quick. I am coming to Ninja.
Yeah, so we're constantly exposed to things that affect our field, right? Radiation of towers,
You don't have to be.
food, and something like that, right?
You don't have to be.
Okay.
It's all energy,
Mhm.
right? And you're able to code your energetic fields so those things don't impact you. In fact, I have an EMF video. I think we give away for free. Go to the website, kenlloyd.com free, or in the catalog, there's an EMF in there. And what they do is they put these grounding fields in these grounding rods in your field. But what they tell me is that 5G is not bad. It's the carrier signal in the 5G that's causing whatever you guys want to call it. Like, I don't pay attention to this crap. Hold on a second. So what happens here is they put in frequencies in your field so that carrier frequency is nullified, but you can still receive the 5G. So this is how they operate. They get rid of the distortions in the energies of the environmental stuff.
So the radiation and put the GMOs or modified food and things that put in the water, so all affect the energy. And what would be the way to neutralize or not be an effect?
You got to find someone like me, and I'm not trying to be funny, right? But someone who has the codes in order to shift your field, your energetic field, right? And I'm pumping out more and more of these, but I have to be careful so that I don't raise red flags.
That would be a constant work, or
No, it's no different than a computer program. And I'm not going to the Matrix theme here, guys, but the idea of a computer program. Yeah, the idea of just putting a program in your field so that the energy, remember, everything is energy, right? You can choose what goes into your system. This is something new with the human, right? You're able to choose what energy is going to impact you and affect you.
so basically it's like putting a program that transmutes whatever is and it turns bad into.
Yeah, like a filter, like a filter around you. Yeah, yeah. And whatever they create is a little different for everyone. Was there another? Yeah.
Can I make a hologram of you as part of the decor of the house?
Okay, like I would not right. No, I'm aging too fast. No. I'm just sorry. Sorry ass. I mean, I can program crystals and everything if there's things that are needed, but I typically don't. Oh, you just want me,
Yeah, with the hands moving and everything.
you guys see those new holograms now, those digital ones? That's what you were talking about. Yeah.
But your hands have to move when you have to.
Yeah, I can't help this crap. I don't get it. They actually had me sit in my hands sometimes. Me too. And yeah,
Can remove the energy for childhood trauma.
All the time.
And, pardon
I
me,
do it all the time.
that's what I need, and housing, pancreas and lower spine.
If I do this, you're going to find yourself crying a lot tomorrow. Okay. I'm just going to do the one thing. I'll do this because there's too much going on here. Do you want the childhood trauma? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And just remember, this isn't getting rid of the memories. This is getting rid of the energetic attachment to the memories. So the memories are no longer relevant. It's okay. They're there. Energetically, they're there, even though you don't consciously recall. And again, everyone's going to get the trauma purge right now. Shukuru do kare I'm in the root. Kaliara yoro tori no kara bargo niori go shukuru kuri no bargo niari ariana di aniari go ni bargo niari ka bari anaka lora ka bargo ni bargo no shi lera kuri na bari no bari akila karo kuri. Kala mapa aniata alia ro kuri sacro. Kuri ntush kaliara anu tori aro tori ma bari ari ti open wider. Kuri aro to kuri shukuru do kara bari ka bargo ni bargo ni bargo ni bargo ni bargo shi lera ka bari no ni bargo ni ni no do di apa yo chuchu. Shikari di ni no do no bari ni da aro tori shukuru do kare aro tori ke nemari anari akali ara karo kabari ko yana ke shukuri no no ke bari ko ro tari bari ke ni ke ni aro ko mani shukuri shukuru do ko ke bari no ke hidden suppressed kare aro mari aro teri shukuri ke ro bari no kalari le no te bari no ko na kana na to ke ni to sini tu to kabari na ba kabari akila ke ni do ke bari shukari ko aro ko no te bari ke na ke ni chiki ke bari ko ni ke close with support heart ala ni ro to yo to ya shakai na kayo rotorio korio ani mabari shakaro ka ya korio kare ana ke ni kare ore ti na shigalo ke ya bia shakaro korio no ya maba korio kiri she release come on release no dia ale ala taria no shakari okay I am mama in I show koro to ka na te ke there we go shakaro do korio mabari na kare ana ari ke suppressed kare mabari ari and hidden korio no kare open the top of the heart Korea Kariara Tariara to get a cabario Kariamari no Kariamari Mariori Shakoro Korea Bari Naro to Korea. They're gonna work on the thought forms real quick. Nuti no pa ala ni ka ni tishu no to no ka ba lari na alero tari de kinia tenia to no amable on able ne de tare ka de no de no no di ama pa lari ni tishu de Korea. Tadia ta karia ta kadoro ko na bari rotaria shikaro ko na bari no to no bari no bari ni to ko na to kai ne karani de shikaro to re kari no ka bari to karia to tract motions in the body will be done. Shikalo kaya mama ya kia, kaya lishikataria kaloroko, shakolo kala alaria kila karo korea mapakiler kania te shinia to korea, shakolo korea na amabali nia te nia talor kamabali no dia, nishika doria aparia karia ntoshia tari no koroko. So if you guys find yourself emotional tomorrow, I mean, I'm not even kidding. It's just let it happen. Find yourself in a nice quiet spot. Cry, let it out. That's the last stage of the healing, right? And again, your sleep's going to be disrupted. Hopefully not. I'm not responsible. Just call her. You're going to feel weird. You're just not going to feel yourself for a couple days. It's going to shift and you're going to wake up and be like, oh my God, you're going to feel like a new person as that trauma just gets out of your system. So did anyone feel that as I was pulling it out of your systems? Yeah. No. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Raised his hand like 10 times.
It's all right. It sounds like he's helping you. Yeah.
Blurry, distorted vision. Am I right?
No siya ka the right eye. Kino ka le siya ka le ke le ke na no ala ali ari ke do ari ona ari o de almari ona ke ne ka le. Now this is usually I will tell you the ears and the eyes are one of the harder things to heal because the brain will expect it to be fuzzy. And it'll take a little while for the brain to kind of reprogram itself to say, oh, it's okay. So they're
And distorted.
yeah, right. So, but yeah, I don't even need to know what's really happening. But but the brain also needs to be reprogrammed to the new condition of the eye. I'll do that, but this is one of the things that sometimes it shows up right away.
Yeah.
Not always though. No le alero kalene kaleno le mariani tikini lo le no riadi rote yeshiro koriamba. Excuse me, Korea Marianari and Akareta and Kinishi get incorporated in the area and Mariani Kinia do Rotoria Targia, Chicago Carina Barigan wider, Coleamo Leora, Dadianaro, and Barigoniata, Calero, and Shuro, Roca Barigoniata, Barigoniata, Doria, Mabaca, Papaya, Papa, Papieta, Tori, Nati, and Yashigara, or the Ariaki. They're reminding me just because I'm working on his eyes, you guys have other things happening. Caliala, Luricania, Talia, Caloro, Norio, Noko, and the same thing in the chat. Calario to Caliara, Caliara, and Ania, no Shigoro. It's pretty thick. Calorina Baleario Toria, Shakoro can move it over. Culinary and Ashakana Barrio Carosha Cadia Caria, Nito Niata Alaria and Carota, Rabariano, Sugar can make a Kiniati, and can order the Correa Barconiata, Caniara, Shigoro Cabania, Netaria, Alaria, and Ania, didn't she need to go? Caria, thank you, pull it out. Caliana Parianaria to Shigora Caria Caria, Kurima Pariana Dushka. Ma narioto anietaria reta anishikuru nuru no diama paria anietaria ania mani no kare no ria mabari shakushia neria ne adoria moro no ria na aniakia. So what I actually do when I'm doing the eyes, I'll look through the eyes and I'll look at a visual on the mountaintop because I'm in freaking Frisco right now, right? But then I'll also bring the vision down to something small print on a piece of paper, and the light language will shift until it's in focus, distance and far. This is one of the things I've been doing lately. But every 3 weeks, everything I do changes, and I have to relearn the new things that they have coming in. I am on an elevator that never stops, right? This is what I'm supposed to do.
Obviously,
A lot,
a lot.
not a lot.
Not a lot.
No, not lately. And I complain a lot about that. But I'll tell you, I've been, I guess, telling her, I've been microdosing melatonin, right? Just doing my best to try to get to sleep. It's bad. I'm up at 3:30 every morning. Yeah. Yeah. Um,
So there's more in the chat, well, then it's just her, why don't we do work on her?
okay, then I want to do ninja.
No, do him.
It's a her. I know ninja. Shkaria ka. She receives pretty well. Hold on a second here. Kalian pa rin kalian kaniya ro kaniya ba ro are kariyan ni shikaro kara bar kariyan kariyan mablian kala brekin ya tari are teri shikaro kaliya kaliyan bariana area te kiri kelero area no kaliya barkin ya tari no kariyan te karo tari ya kariya shikin de kore barkin ya te kariya kelero kaliya kaliya de kore mariana kaliya barkin. You guys can do all the distractions you want. Kaliya no kaliya ya te shiri area kaliya ni te la no kaniya aki kariya korea body auto korea mapa ni tari a lot of trapped emotions in there ninja. Kaliano, Kaliana, 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 to rebuild. Kalia, and then I'll actually move the body part in my mind to see how it reacts to me. Kaliania, Shikaria, Korea, Mabaliania, Taliania, Shikaro, Toria, that should help. Okay.
I feel like it's gonna be like twofold of one thing.
I'm not sure we have time for that.
Okay.
You can't say no to her.
I know, that's why I did it.
Everybody's gonna be part of this. Okay, so I have inflammation from my scalp to my scapulas to I have arthritis in my hands down to in my
So pick one.
in my hips. So I have a ton of inflammation and I have had full body paralysis since I was very young. So I get it like all the time. So I feel like there's something, I don't know.
You actually have a soul fragment that's hanging out. You have two of them. So
You lay on the table like,
no.
okay.
No.
It is a battle. It feels like it's physical.
Let me heal them. Her, it, they, them, the, whatever. Hold on.
It's a she.
Oh god. Over to the right. No, it's actually helps move the energy. She's opening up. Drop out. She's been here since age 3 for some reason. No, she says 13, not 3. She can pull it off of her. You don't need to be here anymore. Thank you. Okay, hold on. She's asking to go back. She's holding her trauma. She's asked to be merged back in with the higher self. I'm going to let her do that. She's saying goodbye. She's grabbing her luggage. And an umbilical cord of all things. She's into your heart. She's pulling it out. She says, that's mine. I'll take it. She's very, very, very polite when she's saying this intentionally. They're taking her. This is by her choice. She says her job's done with you. But the other one out there says, no, 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 I don't want to go. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Pull that energy out. Pull forward, come forward. She's tucked to your root. Pull that she's go into her root. Gotta go into your root. Now she wants in. Merge her in. Show me her grid system. Chicago, Korea, Mamba, Oha, Papa, Oka, Aniata, Ania, Takali, and the Kinishin, Korea, Mapalian, Aniati, Kilona, Korean, and Papa, Inaka, Aniati, Nita, Nixinaka, Oka, and Papa, Ala, Aliana, Ala, Aniata, Niata, Korea, Korea, Mapa, Oya, Kia, Kakiko, Eka, Kakishaki. I'm just normalizing your energy systems in the body. Kilora, Ala, Loko, Chokola, Papa, Ala, Aniata, Nikano, Korea, thank you, and something's leaving. How do you feel?
I feel like some like libido stuff happening.
It's the root. Well, So
That'll be my third request, but yeah.
yeah. So the second soul fragment was attached to your root chakra. Maybe it was your sacral, but it looked like it was the root. And I had to pull
Yeah.
trauma out of that.
That's.
And once I pulled that out, she was able to merge back in. Okay. How's the rest of the body feel?
It's feeling airy. It's feeling like there's some flow.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that'll definitely help. So
Thank you.
okay.
So I want to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
We could keep going for.
Yeah, and then this is what happens. It goes forever. Yeah.
Chad, I hate to diss anyone. Do you feel guided to do more?
Hey,
or-
can you do one more?
You can go to go to my YouTube channel, everyone. Ken Lloyd Official. I just uploaded something from June 5th. Yeah, there's ads in it. That's not my fault, but you're going to get a full hour of emotional, physical healing. They're going to activate your clairs. Definitely use that. Join the Facebook group. You'll see it at the top, Evolutionary Human Ken Lloyd. I'm always dropping codes there. And then join my Wednesdays. Like my Wednesdays are rocking. That's what's happening there. And you can just look at all the other stuff.
What's the address of your Wednesdays?
No, it's just kenlloydofficial.com.
So can you do one more or you?
You have to do one more.
How many L's are boy?
2 L's.
Can you do some shift of my heart? I'm feeling pretty good, no pain.
Well, what's the issue?
I've had 4 issues with my heart.
Okay, just real quick. I don't need to.
Yeah,
I mean,
congestive heart failure
Okay.
and stuff like that.
did you have surgery?
No, yes, I have had,
It's because it looks like your left side's all messed up.
right, I had ablation that.
Yeah, because it literally totally clogged. I'm not a doctor, but the energy, it looks totally clogged on the left side.
Right, yeah.
so
Is
hold-
there
yeah.
anything you can do on that?
I'm going to shift the energy. How it shows up, it shows up.
I get it.
All I'm doing is shifting energy. I'm going to shift
Do
energy.
you want your subpoena now or?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Do we have any other questions? I aren't healing requests, just any discussion?
I'm gonna do his heart in a minute. So let me do your heart real quick and then we can kind of wrap everything up. Yeah. Who are you? Yeah. Hold on a second. Okay. I'm having a conversation. Hold on. I gotta go do your egoic mind. Hold on a second. I don't trust this guy. So discernment's so I have this entity literally holding your heart in his hand, saying, I'm trying to give it to him, I'm trying to give it to him. Right? He won't take it. And he's pointing to your egoic mind as the cock block. Right? Yes, I swear it, I don't care. But when those things show up, it's a red flag all day long. So this guy's trying to give you damaged energy, this entity. So I'm going to pull him up, but I have to have a conversation.
So he's a he giving me.
No, forget. No, there's no genders with energy. It's just how they show up for me, right? But anytime these things show up and try to give something, no, it's never good. So we're gonna get him out of here. I can't, because literally the heart he's holding is dripping blood. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to give it to him. It's really creepy. He has some weird friends. They're burning across in his chest. This is really weird. They're gonna escort this guy out. Because again, they don't harm anyone. They just take these energies of these consciousness back to wherever they're going next. They don't do the whole annihilate, transmute, none of that crap. I don't play that game, but they move them back to where they come from, where they need to go. But this guy's really aggressive. There's 3 contracts he needs burnt first. No, you won't. He totally wanted in you. He was gonna. These guys are just so pain in the ass. Back to you. This is going to take pressure off your chest if you haven't already felt it. Korea Mapariado, Caliano, Camariano, Canamariconia, Pariconia, Pariconia, Korean, 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 these little lasers going in there. Chicoliariano, Cabrianiari, and Cabriconiari, Cabriconiari, Caratari, Rituri, Rutiri, Scodiaticaria, Chicadicaria, the cow, the Aticaria, Carino, Carina, Chicano, Carabarconia, turn it. Caliano, Canari, and a Carota, and a Rotara Maradicani, Italian, Scodian, Mario, not in the sugar, Chicado, Caratari, and Ani, and the Scudia, Bacataki, to pull it out. Open him up. Kaalaria, Kilario, Shakuro, Kuro, Shati, and Kaana, Mamma, Babayano, Babayano, Karema, Pariani, Torian, Mariano, Mariana, Shikaria, Bakari, Kuria, Kari, dissolve, Kamapa. What am I missing? I can't, cool, can't, show me what I can't see. Oh, there's another one. Off to the right. Kaleo, Kaalia, Shikoria, Kuria. So it's one of the things when you guys are in your meditations, you're doing your things, always ask, show me what I can't see. You'd be surprised what shows up. One more. Koreano Koreama body ticket dissolve. Koreama body and then rebuild. I'm not happy with what they're showing me though. They're not showing me much change. Hold on. What am I missing? This is an alarm system. The yawn. They're showing me the back of the heart. Open that up. I have another yucky coming out of the back of the heart. Kulia toria karia kia ka aurea taria shieto. Mapanin arian aria takaria to Korea. Paria mapa nishkaria neka. Paria poriota alia kalia nia alare noshika alare. Okay, that's better. Okay, you had a bunch of things in there that were not friendly.
So these unfriendlies, was that something in my past? Or did you
Don't ask. Don't know. Just get rid of them.
Yeah, so you kicked him in the ass or?
No. I'm very nice. Bye.
Yeah,
So what they do is they put them in an energetic bubble, and then they use the light language, and they literally imprint on that energetic bubble, right? So it's the idea of them not being able to access your field again, but we don't care where they go, just not here.
so this, whatever it was, had a
You had three.
connection with me, or is that what it was?
Had a what?
Malevolent connection is a dictionary word.
That's mean, right?
Yeah.
The M is mean. Yes.
That's a short form.
Oh yeah, no, it's not good.
Yeah. Okay.
Not good. They literally opened up the back of your heart, and this guy pulled it to the side and came out.
Really?
Yeah, that was the last one I removed.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Put it on my account when I
I'll
open.
do that. Yeah.
My heart has a very intense feeling.
Would you like me to fix that?
Please.
They call these healing crisis. Hold on. Ayaki kita kaala arias pull this out of her. Just relax her. Korea na mamba nieta Korea ka chukorio ko kaya mama nieto no dia na mama kaya no Korea mabari roto shukoria mapakaria shakaro ka mabakali ko nia talo toria Korea aria kila karia shukoria nia taria. That should be better. Yeah, can you breathe now?
Yeah, I feel calm.
Okay.
Do you get exhausted doing this work?
No. I do 12 of these, 12 sessions a day, and then I go for beer.
Diet beer. Right? What kind of diet beer?
I have beer. Yeah. So no, because it's not my energy. It's the team doing it right. And you see the impact she's got going on over there.
It's I got lots of downloads while we are doing this work. But there's still something that because of some entanglements, I'm not.
It's okay.
Yeah, she was gonna massage me.
All right. I'm next. No, go ahead. Sure.
So there's I was getting some messages for myself.
Okay.
And at the same time, I still feel like there are some entanglements that are preventing me to go on the path that I'm supposed to.
Incorrect.
I know.
Incorrect. Give it a little time. They're going to unwind for you and unravel, right? Push through what you got to push through right now. And you know what I'm talking about with life stuff? And they'll open up for you. You're not far away. Not far away for those downloads to be unpacking and releasing what you're asking. Okay?
So one more question. How can I work with the energy that is the contract currently going on?
Okay, so what I haven't talked about is the Library of Creation. All right. The library creation was downloaded to me about a year ago or so. It's so this heavy lifting that I'm doing, the library creation is a place where all the creation exists. The Akashics are there, the Galactic Akashics are all inside the library. But it's not just a library, it's a place of creation. All these codes that I have are in the library, right? And I'll be releasing a modality whenever I get into it. But I do teach people how to go into the library. So as an example, the library has rooms, right? And I've named the rooms. We're all creator beings, right? So I created these rooms. One of these rooms, I'll give you an example, is the room of trauma. Now, no one wants to remember trauma, right? Right? We just want the shit gone. So in the room of trauma, it's a white room, there's an open window, and there's an open window, blue sky, and there's a cardboard box in the middle of the room. And what you'll do is you go in there and you tell the library what you want with a question. The library is feeding your soul and your subconscious into the room. All right. So you'll say, show me the objects that represent the trauma, the childhood pattern, the childhood behavior on why I can't have a great relationship. I'm making this up, right? And you'll see an object or two appear in the room. Will make no sense at all, intentionally. And what to do with your heart is you'll send it gratitude and love and appreciation and forgiveness. You're not forgiving the trauma. What you're doing is you're forgiving yourself for hanging on to the trauma. That object will change its shape and you pop it into the box, float it away out the window. Now here's the deal. You'll tell the library to do this. The library is using the codes that I have to do the healing. Now, what happened here, if you were to go to the average healer and like, man, I got this thing going on, they're like, oh, that childhood trauma from age 13 when, whatever, fill in the blank, right? There's part of it. Well, guess what? There's a layer and another layer and another layer and another layer. It keeps going and going and going. That's not what happens in this room. All the layers are put into that object and done at once. Okay. Same thing with your karma. There's a room of the karma, right? You can say, go in there. I can take everyone in. Bird is running out of time, but you can go to the room of karma and say, show me all the collective karma that I'm serving right now. And you'll be in this hallway. You'll see it dripping from the ceiling. You'll see it puddling on the floor. And you literally just go down the hall and it clears the karma. Past life karma, ancestral karma, relationship karma. There's a room of karma, right? There is a room of the healed heart, which is a little meditation that takes place. There is the room of your self-limiting beliefs, your programming, your triggers. They're all different places you go. The energy that's connected to the ancestors. There's a room for your viewing room of your past lives. It looks like a movie theater. You sit in the movie theater in the front row and you say, show me the past lives that are responsible for my shoulder. The TVs will turn on and you'll be able to see those past lives, but we ask the room, make them blurred and out of focus. You don't want to see the past life where you got shot in the arm or something. You don't want to see that trauma. Not only that, but you don't want to know it because then you're going to be going to bed saying, my God, why was I in that war? Why did I do that? I should move to the left, should have moved to the right. Like you don't want the story. But you'll say to the room, library, heal and release those past lives. And sure as shit, those TVs will start popping off and you'll feel a shift in the body. So there's a place you can go to do all that work yourself. And not only that, but you can do it as a Reiki practitioner. You can sit there and do your thing, take them into the room to heal the trauma while you're working on it. Like it'll be coming up in August, maybe. Like
I don't know if them or somehow everything was.
the library's for everybody. It's like it's not a controlled modality. Like, this is the next level of human, the evolutionary human. The library is now here because we've done enough collective work, right? So now these new tools are coming in. I just have access to the tools.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So we good? All right. Bye, everyone. So, yeah.
Scan.